welcome back. We've come again, this time with Team Secret against NIP as we get ourselves into the draft. I find the overlays, we've got everything done. I'm Gareth, joined by CC&C, and these two teams, they've not been doing too well today, have they?
No, Secret, what are they? I think they're 1-1. NIP,
10 seconds
are they 1-1
remaining.
as well? I think they're both even. I'm not 100% sure. We are
5
checking
seconds
right
remaining.
Yeah, NIP won against alternate attacks and then lost to...
Reserve
I'm sure
time.
NIP lost to someone else. No, NIP are 2-0.
Are they really?
Yeah,
Who is their second one against?
against Pro Dota. That's
Okay.
that must have been just now, actually.
Okay, so it's two of the lesser teams. It's not like the Cloud9s or Bears or any teams like that. This is probably their first, like, good team they're playing against, or, substantial team. But yeah, 2-0 so far. It's a good start for them. Have been quite shaky in the past. I don't think too many people
Team
expected them to have like a
Secrets
great
turn
shot
to
against like
ban.
the Bears, Secrets, like the upper teams. So we'll see how they
Radiant
do.
team
I think
pick.
this is like this game's probably going to be a sign
Secrets turn
for
to pick.
how the rest of their qualifier run goes.
They know how to ban the Keeper of the Light, though.
They do. No cuddle in the pool, and they get the Laundered.
Hmm.
Centaur out of the pool as well. So out of like the three heroes that most teams consider to be like super
10
duper high
seconds
tier, the
remaining.
Launderer, the Cuddle, and the Centaur, two get banned and NIP get the
5
Laundered. So
seconds remaining.
as far as like super early picks go, pretty decent start for them.
So what do you need to do
Radiant
to like
team pick.
handle a lone druid? Because obviously he's just like a sniper on steroids. He gets you from long range. He does so much damage with his attack speed. Is it just about catching him with a good initiation hero, or is there more nuance to it?
I think trying
10
to
seconds
get at
remaining.
least some kind of decent lanes or some hero that can kind of lane verse him, because sort of one of the
5
big things
seconds
about Lone
remaining.
Druid is that it allows your supports to do whatever they want, because you can just put this Lone Druid here in the safe lane or mid or whatever, and
Reserve
he at the very least breaks even in every single mid match or in every single 1v1 matchup. So it lets your supports go and they can roam other lanes, and it gives you the potential to like win all three lanes. So I actually like this Omni Knight pick from
Team
Secret.
Secrets
I
turn
would
to
assume it'd be
ban.
Omni Knight offlane, played by KZ. I think they've done that before. And it's a hero that I think can actually do quite well versus the Lone Druid. He's like hard to harass. He has the degen aura, which makes it like a little bit harder for the bear to root him potentially, and then also like has the heal, so can actually sustain in the lane quite
10
well, I think.
seconds remaining.
Okay, just run at the lone druid a little bit. Get up
5
in his face.
seconds
Slardar can
remaining.
obviously help out there. I think Puppy's been playing that 4-role roaming Slardar a fair amount.
Yeah, I think
Radiant
they
team
typically
ban.
run it as 4. I think most teams have started shying away from the slaughter in the offlane. It's very one-dimensional and can get shut down pretty easily. You don't really have a comeback mechanism.
Oh, there's bans out now. Crystal Maiden taken away. NIP.
10
Now, Honey's
seconds
been playing the
remaining.
very hard 5 roles. He's playing Wyvern and Crystal Maiden, stuff like that.
5
Kind of just
seconds
sitting away in the
remaining.
jungle, trying to keep himself alive. But he's also had a pretty massive impact playing these heroes that are required
Team
to come in at the right
Secrets
moment.
turn to
We saw
ban.
Winter's Curses in the previous game from Hani. Sometimes off the mark, but he got himself together and realized, right, I need to be a little more reserved in my movements. I'm not able to go and play too hyper aggressively into these guys. I think it's been one of the nice
10
things to see
seconds
the
remaining.
first few games of this qualifier is how well-rounded
5
and kind of
seconds
how crisp
remaining.
a lot of these teams are after boot camping. Alliance have taken 3 weeks or a month or so since
Reserve
their last
time.
competitive foray and boot camped a lot. They've been training and practicing. NIP have been playing a lot online, but
Radiant team
these teams have
ban.
come together in what feels like such a short amount of time with well-honed drafts and strategies.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you're, I think NIP is at a boot camp as well, but yeah, whenever you have that much time,
10
together to
seconds
like play as a
remaining.
team and stuff, scrimming nonstop,
5
and just
seconds
focusing on Dota,
remaining.
you can improve a fair amount in a short amount of time for sure.
Reserve time.
I'm curious to see if, like we talked about earlier, like NIP have still played against some of the lesser known teams that most people don't expect to do very well at all. So I think this match is pretty important for that, because it is like the
Team
teams that
Secrets
actually
turn to
people
pick.
consider to have at least a decent shot.
Sniper removed as well.
Yeah, they're banning a lot of mid one heroes. I think most teams know that
Radiant
Secret
team
plays
pick.
like a lot around mid one. That's the player that Secret focuses on.
Team
NP will play a lot more
Secrets
space
turn to
creators. KZ will play space creators or these team fight heroes. And mid one is almost always playing more of the one role for mid. Like he's extremely good and probably their most mechanically talented player.
Secret feel like they've been like that a
10
lot, though,
seconds
right? You know,
remaining.
having Weehar in the past, having mid one here. MP had a
5
similar role
seconds
back on
remaining.
MVP Phoenix, where QO would just go in on mid lane, and he was the guy that kind of started team fights or got a lot of the farm, while
Radiant
MP
team
was
pick.
more stoic and, I'm going to play the reserve carry, make sure that things go smoothly, even if you dive a little bit too much. Timbersaw now for Team Secret. I think that's going to be Kezu's hero, or can you feel that maybe going towards the mid lane for them?
10 seconds
I don't know if
remaining.
mid one plays Timbersaw a lot.
I think it is
5 seconds
probably
remaining.
a safe lane. Timbersaw, it does very, very well versus. I guess it's Darkseer. Darkseer
Reserve
dual
time.
lanes typically do, or just Darkseer in general does very well versus Timbersaw. They could potentially run it mid. Well, what they could do actually is try and put the Omni-Knight against the Darkseer, and then put this Timbersaw against the Lone Druid, a hero that also, like the Omni-Knight, I think does very well versus the Lone Druid. Once you're level 5, which is right whenever Lone Druid becomes his strongest, obviously because the Entangle is right whenever you
Team
get your level 3
Secrets, turn to
reactive
ban.
armor, so you're like almost impossible to zone out of the lane. Yeah, this is really interesting. I think the way these lanes get set up is like super important for both teams. I think Team Secret wants this Timbersaw against the Lone Druid, preferably in a 1v1, and they want the Omni Knight against like this
10
Darkseer
seconds
lane, but now there's an
remaining.
Ursa in the mix, so there's a lot of heroes that kind of just crush each other in
5
lanes, and I think
seconds
it's
remaining.
like the scouting out the lanes early on and making sure they don't like get crushed in the
Reserve
lanes is like
time.
really important for both sides.
So if you want to go about getting this information about where lanes are starting off, like, do you consider an early smoke into enemy jungle? Do you just want to get early, like, TP out to get observer wards down to see where people are taking bounty runes? Or is there any other way that you can maybe limit the guesswork and make it more estimation?
I think both of those are likely. I think they may smoke and TP. There's no like Earth Spirits or heroes like that that just can get out there like ridiculously fast. So I think it'll happen at about the same time. We'll see. Probably they both TP to each other's off lanes. Maybe if one team is like getting fancy, they'll like run to their own safe lane and try and like take a fight there. It's kind of we'll have to see what they go for, but I think the laning setup is very, very important.
Winter
PA
Wyvern.
ban out there.
Team Secrets turn to
That's a
pick.
good gap closer onto the Lone Druid.
Yeah, they have the Omni Knight as well.
Oh yeah, the free BKB basically.
Yeah, you don't. It's a pretty decent hero versus Ursa. His Fury Swipe charges don't deplete when he's hitting when he's missing or overpower. Sorry.
10 seconds remaining.
But you still just sit there and swing forever and ever and ever. It's a hero that Ursa can't really
5
jump on and
seconds
burst because that
remaining.
hero does not have the kind of gold intake that it requires to get an MKB at even a reasonable timing.
Reserve
So
time.
it's also a hero that mid one will play from time to time. They're one of the few heroes that teams that will actually pick PA. Back in the day, they do like the PA coddle. They do these sort of interesting strats to try and make the PA work. So I think it's a pretty good ban.
And there we have the Hani Winter Wyvern again. It's been used so good to turn around team fights and allow players like Trixie and Ira to get away with, a few little mistakes in team fights if they're getting a little bit overzealous or jumping into areas they shouldn't be. Of course, the famous Qualifier Lone Druid. He's played that a lot over the years. He's still a young lad, but known for his Invoker, Lone Druid, and Tinker for the past 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, those are like his heroes. He almost always has one of those heroes. If they're not first picking him Lone Druid, they're first picking him Invoker. He's consistently playing those heroes. I think this Winter Wyvern is maybe a little bit of a preemptive pick. TA wouldn't have been bad for Team Secret. They want kind of, sort of the same vein as TA. They want some semi-mobile hero that can like scale and gives them some physical damage, gives them a way to go high ground, because as of now, they have some serious high ground issues. There's still like the Shadow Fiend isn't terrible here. It is kind of immobile. I can maybe okay, so they go for the Weaver. Yeah, so it's that mobile hero here that can get on top of the Lone Druid.
Ties in nicely with Slardar's minus armor from Corrosive Haze. You've got Swarm as well. So
Yeah.
maybe even cancel Blinks, like Sanking, DS, Ursa, all Blink heroes. Swarm could be very annoying against that.
Yeah, it also matches up very well versus the Ursa as far as the carry versus carry matchup goes. And they
Prediction-
also only have one stun in the Sand King, who is a support, so he won't be getting a super early blink either. So I think this Weaver will have a pretty nice game.
Unless he just gets Winter's cursed and blown up by his own teammates. But
Yeah, they don't really have any physical damage. I think the only way the ult is really useful from what I'm arriving this game is the using it the Weaver hitting like the Witch Doctor or something like that.
Like
But
cancel a Death Ward and kill the Witch Doctor.
yeah, something
10
like that,
seconds
or
remaining.
just like delaying setting up for like a sanking
5
epicenter into
seconds
a
remaining.
vac
Oh,
wall
yeah.
or something like that. But as far as just like it's not really that great this game. Like Weaver's only the only right clicker like we talked about, so I don't think it's like the best Winter Wyvern game. Because if Timbersaw as well, a hero that's pretty good against Winter Wyvern because the he's obviously all magical damage and you just hold that hero still and they kind of gets bursted down. But it looks like it is actually going to be the mid one Timbersaw and he's going to be going mid.
Cool. Well, we do see the smoke out and TPs, like you said. Synderen goes up towards his own off lane. Actually gets a very early ward down while Puppy is going to slide in here through the back and maybe towards that bounty rune down towards the bot spot. Or is there a nice ward placement that he could go for here?
I don't think there's anything specific. As long as it's a nice deep ward, they can potentially see like if they're waiting around for runes or where heroes are headed. I think that's the most important thing. I don't think there's any specific spot. But they also TP'd Qualifier down to bottom, so getting a ward in both of the lanes. They really want this Ursa up against the Timbersaw, and they expect the Timbersaw to be mid. It is mid one playing it, and you wouldn't typically run like a Weaver or an Omni Knights mid. That's kind of like unheard of. So I think NIP are getting the lanes they want. They're getting the Ursa against the Timbersaw, a matchup that's just unlaneable for Timbersaw. You're gonna get completely massacred. There's nothing you can do. It's not as bad in mid as the other side, or as in the side lanes, because the lane is obviously shorter, so you can pull aggro a little bit more, get it to the tower, potentially tank less harass, and then once you get to like a level 5 or so, the Furious Swipes do a little bit less damage. They are physical damage. So, alright, now he's moving up to top lane. Yeah, I think they're just they're scouting things out. They don't want this Timbersaw up against the Ursa.
Whew. I forgot where the option was for smooth drag. I use my my middle mouse, like move my camera
30
around
seconds to battle.
and trying to edge pan. It's like, I don't know, I've got a mental block against it, I just physically can't. We're good, we're good. So Trixie Darkseer, Synderen over on the Sand King, that support SK you're talking about needs to get his levels up. But roaming Sand King, you either need to have the action go your way or you just sit back and farm and don't do too much. But he's gone boots first over on that Sand King and they're moving away. Ira's going to take that bounty rune, head towards mids while Harney's Winter Wyvern still setting up for bottom lane. Koikva swaps again.
Alright, so Koikva's going to top. Darkseer's. So this is basically the optimal lanes, I think, for Secret. The Weaver is up against the Ursa. The Timbersaw will be bottom against the Winter Wyvern and Darkseer. Although it's not the greatest, you don't really want to be against the Winter Wyvern. So I guess they would probably, the optimal would be the Omni Knights against this Darkseer lane, the Timbersaw against the Lone Druid. But at the very least, he's not against the Ursa, who will have like a half-decent start.
Synderen might be in trouble already. Maledict plus a crush from Poppy. MP attacks up high ground. Synderen Burrow strikes back to the safety of his tier 1. That's already his first action of the game, basically. come to almost nothing. A bit of mana expenditure from Secret will be annoying, but Puppy's just sticking around mid. Make sure MP has a decent couple of waves in this first couple of minutes. Is there anything you want to be wary of as this Weaver? You know, getting your lane doubled up under your tier 1, is that going to be annoying for you at all, or is Ira just going to be looking to kind of freeze the lane where it is?
I think I don't think you care too much about the wave being under your tower, although I do think Puppy starting here is very, very good. Despite Weaver being obviously a very mobile hero, the Shukuchi has a super long cooldown level 1. So you still can get punished by this Ursa. He builds up some furry swipes, maybe misuses Shukuchi, or you can even get zoned out of lane pretty easily, as the Poor Man Shield soaks up so much damage. I think it's really good that Puppy starts here because Synderen is starting mid. They almost always do some sort of dual lane bid. Try and do some shenanigans, don't let the mid hero have a free time. NIP does that quite a bit, so they start the sinking here and they Secret mirror that and start the slaughter there. So I think that's pretty nice to make sure this Weaver doesn't like get punished really early on, because once he has like level 4, level 5, then this Ursa is going to start to feel the pain.
And now that Observer Ward that Puppy placed down already paying off. Sees Synderen rotate across, knows that he's heading towards bottom rune. Puppy, Forest strikes, and he's got an Invis rune for himself, but Crush will not land on him. But this is one of the troubles, right, with that support Sand King, is making non-redundant actions. So far, Cindy kind of poked his head mid, thought maybe I can go in here, get some harass down. With this Invis rune, potentially has An opportunity bottom where mid one's Timbersaw salving up back up to full, but Trixie has no mana left. Doesn't even have a mango or anything. Syndren's still just hanging around waiting near this tier 1 tower to look for a go.
Yeah, he has the Soul Ring, I think. Did he mess up? Oh, I think he meant to buy it his Sage Mask at the side shop and instead bought it at base. So he won't actually have the Soul Ring. That's a pretty big deal. I think if he had the Iron Shell, they could maybe set up a kill here as mid one has no points in the Timber Chain yet.
Mid one might walk this one off. Forest Strike comes through from Sin, but here comes the Witch Doctor to slow things down again. Sin stunned up in mid one. He turns to fight with the Mallet down. They surge up Sand King and get him away, but not far enough. Mid one gets your first blood with a Whirling Death. And that Soul Ring misplay, not selling the Sage's Mask in time from the stash back in base. Looks like it came back to haunt them.
Yeah, that makes a pretty huge difference. And they had to use the courier mid as well. Or was getting his bottle, so it's going to be a long time before he has Ion Shell. It's going to be like a minute and a half where he has no Ion Shells down bottom. And it's going to give a lot of free space for mid one to get up his own Soul Ring, who he actually doesn't have the recipe.
Kezu?
So
I thought he was going to get gone on. Qualifier now decides to go for a few little right clicks, but still got Purification as well as 1 point up in that repel for the Omni Knight. So he is okay for now as Era gets the Shikuchi under that tier 1 tower, but bottles himself back up. And MP's got 3 stacks of Fury Swipes over on him, so it's a difficult proposition to still go back in. For bottom lane, Cinderin, he's cast up and stunned. He might be able to get the Burst Strike down onto mid one, but the damage just isn't there. Hani has to retreat, and Trixie's Clarity gets cancelled in the heat of it all. Don't think they can dive him though. Mid one doesn't have enough HP.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
really nice from Hani there, actually, clariting and salving Trixie. So if they didn't have that extra regen there, then he had to go all the way back to base. His bot lane would be pretty disastrous. But at the very least, they have that regen, so he's able to heal on back up, and it's not the biggest deal in the world. Hani has gotten up to top lane. I mean, Qualifier has gotten his level 5 up top lane, so it's going to start to shift into the Lone Druid's favor pretty heavily. He was a little bit ahead of the Omni Knight, but not anything really significant. But now that he has the Entangle, going to start to slowly chip down this Omni Knight, who's already out of regen, doesn't have his Arcane Booth yet. So may start to feel the pain as he's just harassing him, hitting him with this bear. Hasn't gotten any roots yet, but this Lone Druid is having a pretty free time top in the lane. Is right back by his tower, so he's not really gankable right now either.
Yeah, and this opens things up for Puppy, it feels. He's just been slithering around collecting runes. He's level 3. Stealing everything from under the noses of NIP while Pyjamas died. They did shrine up about 30 seconds ago. Move over towards the mid lane, and Era, he poked his head over the top of that ramp. Here comes the Cascade. A stun from Puppy. Catches him, but a nice burst strike from Sin. Turns around for Era now. Swipes down MP. One more hit. Will find the kill. Now Puppy might be in trouble as well. Sin has another burst strike up in 2 seconds time, and I think this will secure the death of the Slardar. A few more hits. Not quite enough damage there, but Cinderin, he died to tower.
Hani's owning.
Hani suddenly comes in with a double kill and keeps himself alive at the same time. Qualifier, well, you look at that. Kills off Kezu. You're talking about that timing. Qualifier is now level 7.
Yeah, they're doing super well in the lane. So we talked about how like the lanes are like really important, making sure that Secret doesn't get these unfavorable matchups. But the lanes were pretty good. They weren't amazing. MP actually not going for the point in Swarm, so actually going for 0-3-2. That's something we see a lot. So they didn't have the bugs for that little skirmish there. I guess getting the second point in the Geminate attack for a little bit more harass on the Ursa. But they live there, they turn around the kills, and not quite for getting the kill top. I think NAP quite happy with how the lanes are going right now. You can see Secret, they really want to play around this Weaver. He's the hero they want to snowball this game. He's the hero that they need to enable, because he's really the only one that can deal with this Lone Druid. You know, obviously you have a Slaughter who's going to get a blink eventually, but you've got a Timbersaw who's a fairly greedy core, Omni Knight who's not really a hero that can roam around too much. And so if Secret is in a position to where they can just like 5-man down these towers, then I think they're going to have some gold issues on the Slaughter. He's not going to get a blink at a reasonable timing, and Weaver not having the greatest of times either. So I think NIP pretty happy with how these lanes are going.
So at what point in Secret do you consider, you know, switching these lanes? Maybe sending Kezu down to the bot lane, putting Timber mid, and putting Weaver up on the safe lane, where perhaps with the help of one support, the Witch Doctor, or maybe even both supports, kill off the Lone Druid or find some farm. Well, Weaver won't have that opportunity apparently, because he just absolutely slaughtered Syndren again. You know, looking at his movements the first 2 minutes or so, wasn't really great. He but a bit of mana out of Secret, but
Dire's
he
middle
seems
tower
kind
is under attack.
of hesitant with where he wanted to go, but the past 3 or 4 minutes he has been on the money every single time looking for these kills.
Yeah, the Weaver goes down again. Ursa has his phase boots now from base. I think sort of the one like bright spot for Seeker is that mid one is having a pretty decent time down bottom. Darkseer's kind of meh on the farm right now. Looks like he's actually going to be going for the HOD. Something we saw originally whenever, you know, Darkseer was getting really popular, whenever HOD had the new HOD had just come out, and we sort of saw it fall off again because oh wow,
Almost.
it barely gets away there. They're actually going in. The Surge is on cooldown.
Great turnaround. Mid one, another Timber Chain away. MP still sticking around. Got Swarm and a time lapse and gets out of the range of Synderen. Stunned now with a Swarm turnaround. Synderen looks like he's gonna die here. Drops to MP. They're gonna go in for more. Hani hiding away in the trees. He's got himself Cold Embrace and 12 stick charges. There's no TP rotations coming in. There's no one to save him. He is left alone to his own devices. In comes one TP, but cancelled immediately as they realize Hani is dead without a chance to survive.
Yeah, it was a super nice rotation from
Radiant's
NP.
bottom tower is
Coming
under
down
attack.
here and like bringing down this Darkseer, this is really the only lane they can rotate to so much. The lone Druid is in a position where they can't really do that much to him. He's all the way up here. He's 550 movement speed basically whenever he pops his phase boots, so it's too hard to bring him down. MP. Shikuchi down here bringing a lot of heroes here as well. It's very nice rotations from Secret, especially MP, and sort of bringing back some of the early kills that NIP had gotten, and NIP really wants to be in a position where they're like continuing to get these kills over and over again. They have a Sand King, they have a Ursa, they have a Darkseer. It's this very run at you lineup. They want to get a lot of kills early on. They want to snowball, but Secret's cores are very mobile besides the Omni Knight. They have this Timbersaw, the Weaver. It's definitely not easy to bring down these heroes once they get some items.
Yeah, it can be difficult, but back to Helm of the Dominator. You know, I think the first time I saw it in a comp game was MSS a while back, and we were in awe. Honestly, it was absolutely amazing to watch the vacuum into Centaur Stomp combinations he was doing on like 3 or 4 heroes. But what's the reason do you think that this kind of fell off and people switched back to Arcane's mech again?
I think it's sort of gimmicky. It makes your hero very, very one-dimensional. If you're not hitting that vacuum stomp, that ends up just being a lot of wasted gold. It's not a mech. And then you're not, is not 5-manning strength, which is like what Darkseer is all about, just running around together with the Ion Shells and killing heroes. Dumping a cast down bottom, but not really getting anything out of it. They actually TP Keizu down bottom and then Timbersaw up to top lane, so...
There had been a Maledict on him there when the Purification hit. Likely would have been dead, but yeah, there's the lane swap. They do keep MP mid though. Maybe feeling now he's got the time lapse, he's got a bit more freedom to actually stick mid and not die to Burrow Strike.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they did the lane swap after that much time. You'd think, I thought they would, if they were going to do it all, they'd do it a little bit earlier. The Omni Knight being down here, he does very, very well versus the Darkseer, obviously, because you can just heal up yourself and kill these creep waves instantly and actually pressure the tower a little bit. So while the Timbersaw, the Lone Druid can't pressure him at all now that has level 4, and Reactor Arm can just stand under the tower. Nothing can really be done to him, and so he can keep this Lone Druid from just sitting up here and free farming a little bit. And I like this decision quite a bit because the Lone Druid is really the only hero that is just sitting here getting free farm. The Ursa, I don't think Secret cares too much about him. They have plenty of ways to kite him. He's versus a Weaver and a Timbersaw. Is typically good versus the Timbersaw, but that's because you can shut him down in lane. If you're not getting that lane matchup, then he's just these very mobile cores that the Ursa is going to have a hard time bringing down, especially whenever he only has 1 stun on his team.
And there's Guardian Angel he's up against as well, which is pretty sickening when you're playing an Ursa. Might think about the Diffusal Blade, but bottom lane, they started with the Crush and the Keizu finishes with the Purification. Look for more here as Zero TP's in. Sand King Synderen looks for the go, but MP time-lapse is backing away from the tier 1. And Secret, they catch, they kill, they evacuate. Well, looks like successfully. Keizu just stands around, and Synderen, he is going in apparently. I'm not sure why. Could you shed some insight onto Synderen's Burrow Strike there?
Yeah, maybe, it happens.
He just wants to cast his spells. He's got the itchy trigger finger.
Yeah, Qualifier actually has a Deso.
Cool.
He went phase Deso, so I guess it gives them a little bit more physical damage, synergizes with the Ursa kind of nicely.
Can he kill mid one here? If he gets an entangle, maybe?
Dire's middle tower is
I
under
think it's
attack.
kind of unlikely. He was just starting to build up the stack, so now he's up to 14.
Tower
HP
has
regen
fallen.
kicks in. Not really any way he'd bring him down, I don't think. It sort of deters mid one from playing really aggressive up in this top lane, but yeah, it's a more early game centric item, I guess. So it lets them actually bring down these towers at a pretty decent clip.
Dire's top tower
But doesn't
is
have the
under
Dragon Lights,
attack.
doesn't have that Maelstrom, so will farm a little bit slower. And it's kind of unusual. We'll see how it pans out, but I think he may fall behind a decent amount on farm whenever
Dire's top tower is under
these
attack.
fights start to go poorly. As it's kind of an item that you buy whenever you want to fight nonstop, and you know, if you're not winning these items or winning these
Dire's
fights
top
whenever you go
tower has
Deso first
fallen.
like this, then Lone Druid is not really a super fast farmer without the Maelstrom.
Let's see where he goes with that. I just see this Omni Knight now with Arcane's mech and try to compare him to the Darks here. But DS is so far behind in relative terms that Synderen, oh, might kill Paladin in 3 hits. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there we go. A little bit of lag comes through, but I'm certain Koikva's found that. Are you lagging as well? Yeah, we have been disconnected.
All right, well, hopefully we can reconnect.
Always love it when that happens. We've dropped no frames over an XSplit, so it looks like it was a Dota problem.
Huh. Interesting. I wonder if the players dropped or it's just us.
Cool. Let's hope not.
All right,
Nope,
no, it's
looks
just
like
us. All right, cool.
just us then. Okay.
Yeah, I
Dire's
think
middle
that
tower
lane
is
swap
under
was just
attack.
absolutely massive. It was a super good play from
Dire's
Secret. They waited until
structures
just the
are
right time.
fortified.
They kept the Timber Saw down bottom until he got his level 4 reactive armor, and then he comes up top, and the Omniac goes down bottom, and they take the tower because the Timber Saw can't really, you know, bring down these lanes fast enough. Whereas the Omniac can kill these, can kill the creep waves instantly with the heal. Can kill the Iron Shield creeps, and then actually can, you know, beat on this tower a decent amount. They're not able to bring him down bottom, whereas the Wyvern's kind of sitting down there. He has the nuke. They can maybe pressure the Timber Saw, but not able to do anything to the Omniac.
They really, really wanted Koikva, but he turns around and gives one to Pylai Die. He's gone. He's done for. The winner's curse from Hani. Holds mid one in place for now, but I think Hani is a goner. No, he's not. Weaver doesn't want to commit. Synderen's around. The rest of Ninjas in Pyjamas have arrived for this fight as well. Oh, looked like it could be a good start to Koikva. He was low on mana, but he still had that Savage Roar, I think, ready up his sleeve. They didn't go in too far, but Witch Doctor again is the casualty, and nothing gained by Secret.
Soldier's fortune.
Yeah, nothing gained, but NIP rotating all these heroes down here and not really getting anything out of it. And you can see this Ursa, he really wants to make stuff happen. He just gets his Blink Dagger, and it's not a hero you just want to sit around and farm on. Whereas
Radiant's top
Secret, they have this
tower
Timber
is
Saw,
under
they have the
attack.
Weaver, heroes that are going to scale a lot better than, you know, an Ursa, who's going to have, like we talked about, a very, very hard time bringing down heroes. If he's not absolutely crushing his lane and getting this Lone Druid ahead really early on, getting the Sand King a quick Blink Dagger off of these kills, the Darks are getting ahead, then they're going to, you know,
Radiant's
they're
top
going to start
tower is
falling
under
behind.
attack.
And they're not going to be able to, you know, take these fights. We saw it down bottom a little bit earlier. Whenever Secret took the tier 1, they were just pulling them all around. Multiple heroes to be in, but they just skirt them around in these fights, and NIP has a really, really hard time doing anything.
And it's only going to get worse when Puppy gets its Blink. He's sitting on 1,500 gold. He's 750 away from Blink Dagger. And again, these kind of one-to-one comparisons shown up in the grand scheme of things don't line up. But you compare him to Cinder and Sand King. He is a long way away from his Blink Dagger. Obviously, they've given a lot more. Oh, we have DC. Nope, just lag again. They've given a lot more kind of space and room to Koikva on this Lone Druid. But no, we touched on the Desolator pick and how it's meant to kind of give them that tempo play and look for these kills, look for the tower pushing. Does the Desolator, or do you think the Desolator will buy enough time for Sind and Hani to actually get up and running as heroes?
Dire's
I don't know if
top
it's so much
tower
as
is
buying
under
time as them just like trying to hit like this time where they're just like 5-manning like really, really early on, because I think they realize that
I'll take your
Radiant's bottom
they're sort of on a
tower is
timer. If
under
they aren't making
attack.
stuff happen, then the game's going to get pretty difficult pretty fast, just because Dire's heroes are so mobile. So I think it was, you know, sort of an effort to just try and bring down some of these towers. The tower gold could speed up Cinder and Blink a little bit. They get the Roshan, so that's a little gold boost there. Then maybe try and take the mid-tier 1 off of that. They're actually wrapping on Koikva up top. He's pushed up pretty far. May go down here.
Corrosive Haze is there. Puppy only gets the crush onto the Spirit Bear, and there's the Savage Roar. Even entangles Puppy on the way through, but he's out. He's TP'd. He's gone. Meanwhile, in the Radiant jungle, MP spots out Trixie. I don't think there's going to be any kind of skirmish over on that side of the map, as the ion-shelled up Golem throws a little pebble at MP.
Yeah, I think the Darks are going for the HOD. It sort of seems like some of their items are just maybe not really synced up.
I was born
Pi going
to
down
war.
mid, but you
Radiant's
think
middle tower
if they're
is
going to be
under
going
attack.
for, this sort of a super early 5-man try and take all these towers, you maybe go for a mech instead of this HOD.
Yeah.
Radiant's
HOD,
top tower
more of
is
like an
under
item that
attack.
helps you like split around the map. It gives you some decent team fight with like the Centaur stomp, but I don't think he actually found a Centaur. Just has this Mud Golem currently.
Not had the best choices of creeps. But Pyjamas dying mid, he bought his Ghost Scepter just before dying, so I think
Oh, he already has a Ghost
yeah,
Scepter. Wow.
he went Brown Boots Ghost Scepter, so I think he's fine. I think he's perfectly fine dying mid, just knowing that in his security of the grave, he got his item in the end.
Yeah, I really like that
Dire's
from
bottom
Pyjamas.
tower has fallen.
And Ursa and Lone Druid who went Desolator, they really only have physical damage.
And
on
he's the
their
only
cores.
one that's really been dying, right? He's the one that's getting focused down and 3-hit. With a Ghost Scepter, he can maybe now get a Death Ward or maybe another Maledict. Looking at Maledict, actually, he went for the first point to annoy Synderen at that top rune spot, get a bit of damage down. Why no points in Voodoo Restoration, though?
I think he may get a value
Dire's
point
middle
here. I don't think it
tower
really
is under
does
attack.
too much. His cores, the heal isn't really useful for them. And you're not really skilling heal up for yourself, as he is like really squishy. He's the hero that the Lone Druid and the Ursa are going to be focusing, like we talked about. So
Dire's
if
middle
they're
tower
trying to
is
focus
under
him,
attack.
then
Dire's
he's not really going to
middle
be standing
tower
next to
has
his cores,
fallen.
healing them up in these long drawn-out fights and these pushes. That's when Voodoo Restoration really like holds its own and is a useful spell. But whenever you have Timbersaw Weaver, they're not going to be taking that much damage. They're not going to be healing up and going back in and just like sitting there and hitting towers. They're very much about going in and out, jumping around. They have the Slaughter Weaver, these very mobile heroes.
And I guess if you've got a walking fountain in the Omni, you don't really need Voodoo Restoration, right? Arcane's mech now with a
Dire's
full
top
Solar Crest
tower
on,
is under
actually.
attack.
If he throws that Solar Crest onto
Oh wow.
anyone really of his team, throw it onto the Weaver, maybe
Dire's
turn it back around onto
structures are
Koikva.
fortified.
Find
Dire's
some
top
good
tower
opportunities.
is under attack.
Synderen is 70 gold away from his Blink Dagger, but it's Puppy who reveals first, goes in onto Koikva, Savage Roar, no, the Repel. Mid one, they turn back with the Winter's Curse and they kill off that Lone Druid. The chase continues though. Do they have any disables to cancel the TP? Honey's gone, he's out. And it looks like the rest of NIP might be safe to get away as well. Synderen completes his TP in error, hasted up, waddles off.
Yeah, they're going to reduce that problem a little bit as mid one picks up the Yule Scepter. Really nice, gives them a little bit more catch, a little bit more kiting potential as well. Even more ways to keep this Ursa
Radiant's
from
top
hitting people, and
tower
it's going to
is
start
under
becoming a bigger and bigger problem as Era goes for a Basher
Radiant
to
structures are
try and
fortified.
to fix that problem a little bit, but you can only do so much, complementing and trying to fix your heroes' strengths
Radiant's
and
top
weaknesses.
tower has fallen.
And he has the Basher, can maybe bring down the Witch Doctor, but it's only a Witch Doctor, and as long as he's getting his Cask off, that's his job. That hero really just is Cask at this kind of a game.
Just throw your one stun, just get it out there. MP, Dragonlance into Maelstrom, throws a swarm onto Era, who sneakily got in there for a regen rune, but of course still holds on to Aegis of the Immortal.
Regeneration.
Unlikely. And the chase continues on there. That Secret looking pretty hot right now. And you're talking about Era and his kind of item progression. He also doesn't have any real defensive supports. I feel like the longer this game goes on, it's going to come down to, maybe a big Vacuum Winter's Curse or the combo plays between the supports and the offlaners more than what Era can do. Because they're the ones that kind of set up and enable the Ursa to actually do any damage.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's going to be doing that much damage. I think once this Timbersaw gets an armor item, he's going for the Shiva, so even more kiting potential. But once he's about to buy the Plate Mail, and that just makes him so tanky. With the reactive armor stacks, he's, 30 armor just now. It's just so hard for this Ursa to really do anything, even if the supports are... Oh,
It's a good stun from Sins. Unfortunately, Era's left high and dry by the rest of his team. Maybe Hani thinks about
Aegis
turning
were
for the
off.
Winter's Curse, catches the Weaver, but there's no damage. Era's already dead, and Puppy looking for the Regoose has blink up in 5 seconds time. The chain across mid one. Yeah, he's chasing Koikva. Savage
Dire's
Roar, is it up? Does he have it? He does on the bear. And himself, of course,
Oh,
and
very
forces
nice.
Puppy back, so there's no blink initiation out from him.
goes in one.
Synderen holding on to this blink stun to try and save his mate. Koikva kept alive, it looks like, for now, as Puppy does not get in time to land that crush onto Koikva, who starts attacking from the low ground, wants to try and fight this, but the rest of Secret come in. A good vacuum back from Trixie will keep them at bay. But again, it's Secret posturing, showing how strong they are. And Ninjas and Pyjamas, they were the aggressors. They were the ones looking for that kill, but spells just thrown out here and there, and no real cohesion to their initiation.
Yeah, they were doing what they needed to. They wanted to smoke up, find a kill with the Ursa, who just got in the Basher. They still had the Aegis for 10-20 seconds, so have a small window where they can maybe do something, but that's not the hero they want to run into. They see mid one, they can't bring him down, so they turn around and try and get out, but Puppey is right there waiting, so a pretty nice read from Secrets. They're doing exactly what NIP wants to be doing. They're very, very one-dimensional, their heroes, whereas Secret can farm. They're definitely fine going late game. They have pickup potential. They can, like take 5-mana tower potentially. There's a lot of things Secret can do, whereas NIP are very just sort of hold into this. We have to find some here and jump them, or take these, take a good team fight, or our heroes are going to start to fall off very, very rapidly.
Yeah, you called it in the draft when that Hani Winter Wyvern was picked up, that Winter's Curse is often seen as this huge spell that can turn around team fights, but if you put it onto Timbersaw, he's not going to take any damage, he'll just get reactive armor stacked. You put it on Slardar, he's unlikely to die because there's no physical damage. You put it on Weaver, same story. Really, you're not going to get too much DPS out of that Winter's Curse. It's just kind of a reset tool, using Curse like a Naga Song almost to try and turn fights around, or just retreat with your tail between legs. Maybe we'll see what Hani does with it in the next fight. Aether Lens is almost complete for him.
Yeah, it's also the Winter's Curse tends to put in a lot of use whenever you have heroes that sort of fight around the same area, so you're able to get a Winter's Curse on multiple heroes. So you have a lot of initiators, heroes that jump in, and you're able to catch multiple of them. But Secret have heroes that they play around in very different areas of the fight. The Slaughter's going in and out, this Weaver is going in and out. The Timbersaw is just sliding around, and it's super hard to catch multiple heroes because they're all in just crazy places in the fight, just constantly zipping around and kiting NIP.
I think Kezu's just been farming for 24 minutes. He picks up a Hand of Midas, actually, after that Solar Crest is done. I guess it's only 24 minutes in, it's not that bad, but what's the big reason here? Is this just to make sure that he stays relevant, give a bit more farm priority over to someone like the Slardar, or keep the Weaver in check?
Yeah, I just don't think there's not really any better item for him to get. He can get a Guardian, so it doesn't really mean that much. There's nothing for really having to purge off besides like a Winter Wyvern Q slow or Ursa, Thunderclap or Shock.
It's not even like a full staff or soul. Synderen, nice blink away. Barely by the skin of his teeth gets over the trees, and Hani over the little waterfall as well. Not sure if he's going to succeed in TPing though. Mid one.
Oh, no.
He uses the bear.
He didn't see him. He was hid.
Radiant's middle tower.
The bear gets returned as well. They get nothing. Absolutely nothing for their efforts.
But yeah, I think a 4-step could be good for the Omniac, but he's there. I think the thing about Secret's heroes is they're not really in a hurry right now. They're fine farming on this Weaver, farming on this Timbersaw, so he could go for a 4-staff and then maybe have 5k gold or 5k less net worth in 15 minutes instead. He gets the Midas and he'll have a big,
like a Hex or something.
Yeah, he could have a Shiva's or a Hex or a Lincoln's. I think it could be very good as the game goes a little bit later. Era's probably going to go for an Abyssal Blade at some point. They have the Sand Stun, the Winter's Curse. They're only forms of lockdown. Trixie.
He looks in a lot of trouble. Vacuum Wall to try and save his own life, but he still dies anyway, and that is a massive expenditure out from NIP. With Roshan being done by Era and Koikva, they're over in the pit, and it looks like the big man is finally dead. Secret will get a tier 2 in exchange for this. There's no glyph. There are no TPs back to come and defend it.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Objective for objective. NIP though, they have that nice little ace in the hole, the Aegis over on Ursa. Over on the Lone Druid, sorry. So Koikva does have that secondary life to come through. And not only does he have the Deso and Maelstrom now, he's got the full Hurricane Pike completed.
Yeah, I think this Aegis does more to just deter Secret for a little bit than allow NIP to really do anything. If they try and just man up and take one of these tier 2 towers, and Secret's going to wrap around with the Slaughter, they're going to sneak up with the Weaver, the Timbersaw is going to stand in the front, and they're just going to get ambushed and brought down all their heroes, I think. The Sand King has a little bit of potential to counter-initiate, but I don't think it's enough to really deter Secret from taking this fight to these towers, so they're going to smoke up. NIP's going to try and do something, realizing they can't just walk up to these towers, but it's very, very hard. Only real hero is close as Pilot Eye, but he's kind of a meaningless kill.
Savage Roar. And they've got him. But it is just a kill for kill's sake, right? It's a bit of gold to line your pockets, but it doesn't give you any clear avenue to another objective. And in the meantime, we'll see MP take tier 1 mid.
Yeah, Honey's in a little bit of trouble as well. Has to ult just so he can TP out.
No way.
He probably would have died during the TP duration. So
I guess it's only like 80 seconds cooldown. It's not atrociously bad.
yeah, and also with their smoke being on cooldown, do they have? I'm not sure if they have any more, but using that smoke, they're not really going to be able to make any moves in the near future. This Timbersaw is just constantly shoving out their lanes. The Weaver pushing in mid, so using that, just ensuring he doesn't go down, I think it's perfectly fine.
MP.
Oh, the double dust.
They've got him tracked down and back down. Qualifier will find the final blow onto that kill. It all started off with Synderen. Nice little move in. Dust, Burrow Strike, and Dust again.
Yeah, the Wyvern had one as well. If they are, it's the Wyvern. Maybe it was the Darkseer actually has a dust. Yeah, so if only had one dust, would have purged it off with the time lapse, which he did, but popped the second one immediately after, and they're able to bring him down. So nice carrying like dust on multiple heroes, realizing that the time lapse is going to purge it off. And off of that pickoff, they can probably try and take this mid tower. Secret may try and stall. As you can see, mid one kind of hanging around the area. And if he just stands in the front, there's not really anything NIP can do. You can see him. Here he comes. Just comes, stands right here.
Qualifier tries to get in for a few free hits, but backdoor protection is there. Dodge out of the chakram. In the meantime, Kezu's doing his best to split push this bottom lane. Like you said earlier on, just throws Purification down, clears out creep waves. Will TP back now, readying himself for this upcoming team fight as Weaver has respawned. MP gonna TP to the tier 3. They use up the Spirit Bear just to try and slow this one down. The Blink Crush Puppy finds the Lone Druid. Can it bring him down fast enough though? The Greaves, the heal, the pushback as well. Qualifier gets himself to an area of safety with a vacuum back into the wall. They've got them caught. The Winter's Curse lands down onto MP, but it's not enough damage just yet. Synderen lines up the 3-man Burrow Strike, but still not killing a single hero. MP time lapses back and Synderen dead to rights as the chase continues. Where is mid one? Still alive. Half HP, half mana, using up this poor little Ursa. The teddy bear has BKB though, turns back onto MP. Death Ward's dropped by Pyjamas, dying to a bit of damage back onto them, but Kezu repel, no fear is there. Forced back and away as this fight is getting scrappier and scrappier. Finally the Diffusal Blade forces the Cold Embrace out from Mahani. And Secret will find another. Trixie's walked into the danger zone though. Era wants to turn and fight this one mid one. Getting shredded, getting destroyed, getting back, but the Yules is there. Keeps him alive a little bit longer. Pyjamas finally casts a stun, but the Guardian Angel out from that Omni Knight of Kezu. And this might just be the tipping scales as Trixie dies. And on they go for more.
18 Fury
Mid one.
stacks.
What's he doing? He's chasing into tier 3s, into tier 2s. Synderen finally stuns and Epicenter. Well, it's not enough damage. Nowhere near enough damage. And Qualifier chased again behind his towers, and that is NIP absolutely disastrously slaughtered as they were chased for a good 2 minutes there by Secret. This might open up for tier 3.
Yeah, I think I think Qualifier actually may have misskilled on his level 20 as well. He took this 12 Spirit Bear armor, so doesn't have the respawn time and is gonna have to buy back probably for this base defense. They're almost definitely gonna lose this tier 3, so Shrine's gonna become available, and they might even lose Rax if they don't force the buyback, or if he doesn't use the buyback.
That is a buyback from Lone Druid. Like you said, a big error if it was one. I'm going for that -4. It's got to be right. There's no world in which you go for 12 Spirit Bear armor.
I guess it can make your bear a little bit tankier against like the Weaver Slaughter physical damage,
Yeah.
but I don't know how important the bear is this game. I guess the roots are another form of disable they kind of need, but versus these super mobile heroes, I don't know how often this bear is actually going to be able to hit heroes.
Well, regardless, NIP, they hold their racks. They do have to buy back over in Qualifier, who immediately runs down a lane to try and earn back some of that gold that he just had to spend out. But Secret, they've kind of bunkered down over in this Radiant jungle area near the tier 2 mid, just getting ready for any kind of cheeky hero who goes in for this bottom lane farm. There's some creeps stacking up down there, making sure to farm through this Radiant jungle at the same time, not losing out on anything while they're there.
Yeah, and what do you call it? Kezu actually getting the Aghanim Scepter on the Omni Knight, so can do it from all the way across the map, so basically removes any pickup potential NIP has because all of their damage is physical. They don't have any Diffusal Blades, so even if some hero gets caught alone, you can always pop the Ag's ult, and they should get out just fine. Mid one going to be going for an E-Blade, so can E-Blade himself, E-Blade the Ursa, any of his teammates, and it's just going to continue to make it impossible for NIP to kill heroes because they really need to just start bursting down heroes at the beginning of fights, and chase Secret down, but they're not able to. They're just getting kited around in these fights that last just forever and ever, like we saw in the last one.
I guess if you're mid one now, you know, 19 Bloodstone charges, Shivers Guard, Yules, BOTs.
Radiant's middle
Why the hell
tower
not go
is
for an
under
E-Blade?
attack.
Does try and chase down the Centaur, but Trixie holding on to that one. Maybe now we'll be able to see that
Radiant's middle
vacuum
tower
into
has fallen.
Centaur Stomp, but it's going to be difficult. Stuns up Kezu for now. Slowly but surely working his way up to the big one. This will be the retreat out from
Dire's
Secret,
top
though.
tower is under attack.
Yeah, they're still pushing a little bit up top with Qualifier, trying to force some heroes back. They don't use any of their TPs on Secret, so they can shove out this line and they can maybe port down to Shrine potentially, or smoke up and run back across the map, as they do have these nice deep wards. They have the one up by the tier 2, and then this one way down here is mid 1 TPs there. And yeah, you can see they push out top, and then all of Secret immediately books it back to the bottom. They're not going to let NIP get any of these lanes in. NIP or MP shoves top, and they're just getting all of this lane pressure, getting considerably more and more map control as the net worth rises and rises for all these Secret heroes.
I was wondering there for a second if Qualifier had gone a little bit too far. Goes back into the jungle, mid one won't be able to catch him. There was also Pylai Die and maybe even Puppey lurking in the wings to slide on into that Radiant jungle. It's just never-ending, ceaseless pressure though from Secret, as every lane seems to be, you know, under their control. Everywhere they go, they're placing deep wards down, like you said, just getting this vision over onto NIP. Is a smoke move from NIP even an option at this point, or are they just going to walk into their own death? Well, maybe they walk into their own death anyway. Darkseer, Trixie, Surge on cooldown, and that looks like it's going to be the end of him for 50 seconds. He does have buyback though, and might be forced to expend it as Honey. Oh, hello, Puppey! Finds the crush, and Winter Wyvern caught in the trees. No saving grace for her, as mid one is godlike with another double kill.
Yeah, 0 deaths on him.
Cool.
This E-Blade is really creative and super good, I think, this game. You know, just further nullifying the
Radiant's
only
bottom
way
barracks
NIP really
are
have
under
to take
attack.
these fights, which is they went all in on this physical damage. They have an Ursa, they have a Desolator on the Lone Druid, and they just buy all these armor items, they buy kiting items, and NIP can't do anything.
Do they try and defend this though without the Darkseer, or let the Racks go and maybe fight around the tier 3 Racks
Radiant's
mid when
bottom
DS is up?
barracks are under attack.
Yeah, they maybe try their best, but I think Secret is just free to back up. They can wait for Roshan, as they do ping it just now. You know, NIP, they really just don't have any plays. Their heroes are just too immobile. Ursa has fallen off considerably from his peak. He had a pretty decent landing stage, got a couple early kills on MP, but it's a Weaver versus an Ursa. You know, past 15 minutes, the Weaver starts skirting around, gets a couple of items. You can't burst him any longer within a bash, and then you're just out of answers. Nothing really you can do.
And Abyssal is now too far away, actually going back into Diffusal Blade. Sick and tired of the Ghost Scepter and Witch Doctor. I guess the E-Blade as well plays into that.
Yeah, also
And
the Guardian
Repel,
Angel.
And Repel and Guardian... Oh, it's not Repel, you can't do that anymore, but Guardian Angel, yeah.
Yeah, I think the Guardian Angel is the huge one. They need something to deal with it because they actually can't kill a hero. Like, a hero won't die in a fight unless they, like, Epicenter the Witch Doctor or something. That's really the only way I think a hero will die on Secret side.
It sounds so sad when you put it that way. Like, no one's going to die unless they Epicenter the Witch Doctor.
Yeah, he's even going for a Dagon now in mid one. I really, really like this. Not, like, going too overboard into this, you know, we're going to make sure we don't die, but actually making sure they have the means to kill NIP, because NIP's heroes aren't super easy to kill in their own right. They have Sanking, a pretty slippery support. They have Surges. The Ursa has the Enrage. Lone Druid is just very, very fast. So going for this Dagon with the E-Blade is just obscene amounts of burst damage. And with Qualifier not going for a BKB, you know, obviously the Winter Wyvern heal is like kind of nice, but you know, it doesn't stop magic damage. So I think mid one has been like adjusting his item build like really, really well this game.
That's kind of cool. So often you'd see like a Lotus Orb or... I mean, a Hex would be good here, but keep getting away from kind of the armor and the regen that Timbersaw already has a lot of. It's pretty nifty. Puppey skirting around the Roche pit. Aegis and Cheese this time. So it looks like the Slardar will take the Cheese out of the hands of the big man Roshan. In goes mid one. Shivers up onto the bear and even Jules up into the air as Timbersaw just 1v5 chasing people into their own base.
A golden thread.
Yep, they heal him up and back to full. They're going to finish off this tier 2 tower and then potentially try and break high ground. It's a little tricky. The Weaver at the very least has a Dragon Lance, and now up to the owner as well, so his physical damage is no joke.
It's the Savage Roar, but the GA's already been dropped, and in they come. Down goes Sin, the Death Ward will pop him and take his life as Kezu makes the full retreat away. Now in comes mid one. Yule's up into the air after the E-Blade over on the Lone Druid. Qualifier nearly burnt through there, but the Chakram won't be able to catch him as he force staffs up into the high ground. Hani retreats with his life intact for now. But Secret, they have the man advantage. Syndra dead for 30 seconds. Multiple lanes pushing into this Radiant base. And Trixie with no wall does have a vacuum to play around with if they want to try. Oh, there's no Winter's Curse either. These big spells that they need to kind of stall out and buy time for Lone Druid if he gets jumped onto. All gone for NIP.
Yeah, and finishing off the last tier 2, they've gotten both the shrines already. They just have absolute map control now. With that last tier 2 town, there's not even this place over here by the Ancients and these 2 camps where the shrine used to be that they can sort of play around and farm, maybe fight around with a ward on one of the hills. Even that has been taken away from them as MP's going to start chipping away at the high ground.
MP doesn't really care about all this. Kite onto Era, forces the BKB as well, and that might be a big old red flag for NIP to sit back and just watch their base get destroyed by Secret, but they're going to give it another go. Mid one wanders around up on the front lines. Tier 3 still relatively healthy though, but Puppey goes in, good crush, and in comes mid one, there's the burst damage, Qualifier. Hurricane pikes himself back, and this Epicenter from Syndra does absolutely nothing. He was hiding in the trees and got his blink cancelled or something, but MP time lapses back, and Era trying to buy himself a little bit of time there going in onto mid one, but Puppey misses out. There's a good vacuum curse. This could be good. They're bringing down someone in the middle there. Puppey's dropping low but healed up. Kept alive by Kezu, and MP's retreated out as well. Mid one, drop in low. Stun comes through, actually catches him mid-timber chain, but in comes Pyjamas. The Death Ward's down, catches onto Era, and there's the cold embrace. Again, things slow down a little bit, but Era's dead. The Swarm and the MP damage coming out from that Geminate attack, way too much to handle.
Yeah, mid one's up in 10 seconds as well, so it could just boss in and they can continue the assault.
Don't
Don't have buyback on the Sand King. They do have it on the Ursa, but if he uses that, then he's never getting another item.
Oh, they popped the Aegis there with a nice vacuum into wall.
Yeah, still has time lapse.
Puppey. Cold embrace will call a halt to this aggression. Or maybe not. MP just wants to go in. He just wants to go in some more. Mid one arrives, like you said. BOTs towards this lane. 35 seconds without your Ursa warrior, and tier 3 looks like it'll be forfeit here with no glyph up. So he's running low on mana a little bit though.
Yeah, playing a little bit cautious. Kezu is very, very low.
Oh, Hani is dead. Looks to try and take down MP. The good Savage Roar comes out, and that damage output. Time lapse just in time, with the BKB out from MP and a Guardian Angel as well. MP drops back. Needs to make sure he doesn't get entangled or anything like that under this tier 3. And mid one blades himself, timber chains across, and once again back to safety they'll go. Secret. It almost feels like they're under no pressure at all as bot lane gets cleared through by lane creeps. But they have hold to the push. NIP have defended.
They're defended.
For now.
For now. They they had to buy back on the Winter Wyvern and the Ursa, so further mitigates the net worth. They were slowly building up. Ursa wanted that Diffusal Blade really, really badly, wasn't able to finish it, and now Kezu, that Midas really paying off, gets the GPM talent, now has a refresher. So they have 16 seconds in a fight where no one will get hurt.
That sounds pretty good.
It does.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, almost 20k net worth on this Omni Knight at 40 minutes is absolutely massive. Refresher, Aghanim, Solar Crest, Mech, Midas, Arcanes. He is absolutely enormous, and
yeah, my jaw has dropped actually looking at this and realizing. Like last time I clicked on him and looked at him, it's like, oh, he's finished his Ags. All of a sudden, oh, he's got a full refresher done. Oh, good stuff.
Yep, Dagon 3 up on the Timbersaw. Weaver about to finish up his Daedalus, it looks like. Has the Diffusal 2 as well. The Lone Druid just barely lived in that last fight because MP actually ran out of Diffusal charges, so wasn't able to slow him down and get that last right click he needed in. So as more of those, it's not going to have as easy of a time living on Qualifier as MP, mid one just TPs on the bottom. They're going to push out this lane, and they don't want to rush the high ground. They know they're in a very, very advantageous position right now. The only real way they can throw away this game is if they make some silly play on the high ground. They get massively 5-man comboed, and they get a good root. Qualifier is able to right click for just the entirety of the fight, so they're not going to rush things. They're going to look for the perfect opportunity.
Oh, Pyjamas die. Perfect opportunity to die, perhaps, but no Scepter up. Now with a come in from Trixie, looks like they'll all finish off the Witch Doctor, but in the meantime, in the back of the fight, they're looking for that Ursa Warrior, nearly dead. The BKB's up for him. The Swarm still ticking over, but taken out as Hani chased out by Puppey. Now a 2v1 though. Puppey chased out by Qualifier, but he's moved himself up onto this high ground position, and Puppey finds him. No, he doesn't. The BKB from Qualifier there in time. MP wants to keep on going in, but Qualifier had that 9-second BKB.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah. Oh, Hani dies. Looks like Era might join them. No BKB has the end range, and there's the GA. The first one at least comes out. The vacuum wall, not going to do a whole lot. Catches Puppey in mid one, but mid one just runs straight on through. GG's called, and that's it. It's over. Secret take the game.
Yeah, and we talked about how with NIP's heroes, they really need to get a great lane set up. The Ursa wasn't against the Timbersaw. The Omni Knights got solo killed by Qualifier, had a really good early start in this lone tree, but it doesn't matter so much when the rest of your heroes just really are super far behind. You know, you're the only hero that's doing significantly well, and you don't really have any kill heroes. You're not some hero that can just carry the game alone whenever Team Secret is all just these very mobile heroes, these hard to kill heroes, and it just, Secret didn't make any glaring mistakes, played the game slow and steady, and eventually just took it. I think a very solid draft from Secret. I think it was a very hard game for NIP to win just from the start. I think the Ursa pick really not panning out. The Winter Wyvern maybe looking to counterpick some physical damage hero because they knew it was probably going to be a physical hero, but the Weaver sort of countering the Winter Wyvern in a way that he is very mobile and doesn't really care so much about if you stall something a little bit.
You just look at like how top heavy NIP were as well, in like farm distribution and GPM and everything. It's like Lone Druid and then everyone else. But then Team Secret, they've got Kezu, MP, mid one, all farming nicely. But Puppey also good timing on his Blink Dagger, gets a good Force Staff, then has like Yules and Blade Mail materialize out of nowhere and has some items. Well, I think Pyjamas had what, like a 14-minute Ghost Scepter, just like out of thin air. Bought Brown Boots and Ghost Scepter and did pretty well. But that puts Team Secret in a better position than they were 30-40 minutes ago. But NIP they're still on 2-1. Not looking too bad for them. It's not been a complete rout against them. But that's it for now. We'll be back in a little bit with more EU qualifiers. I'm not sure exactly who's casting next, but I'm pretty sure I'm on panel.
Yeah, I think I'm casting with OD Pixel some game. I'm not sure which one though.
Okay, we're just like swapping everyone around.
Yeah,
everything's good. See you guys in a little bit.